On today's agenda, we will be reviewing the following topics together: role securities for Control Center access, and we will have a review of all Control Center tabs. We will talk about the Jobs tab, Workflow tab, Schedule tab, and the newly developed Notes tab. And of course, we will have some time at the end for me to answer any questions that you might have. So let's navigate to our Proven Job Management database and first touch on role securities. Once logged in, my landing page is the Jobs menu, but let's navigate together to Settings and then Roles. We will select Edit next to the applicable role name. So for testing purposes, I'm going to select Edit next to Project Manager. We are going to navigate to the Jobs tab and then the Control Center tab. The Control Center has two securities, View and View Own. The View option will allow your employees to view and filter throughout the Control Center and see jobs that they are not necessarily affiliated with or assigned to as a relationship on. Meaning, Project Manager 1 can see Project Manager 2's jobs and their status within the Control Center. If you wish to change the role security to View Own, this will allow the employee to only see jobs in which they are assigned as a relationship on. Or if you do not wish for employees to have access to the Control Center in its entirety, you can deselect the security options. Once any changes have been made to your role securities, always ensure you are selecting Save in the upper left-hand corner. Let's navigate to the Control Center, which is located in the Jobs menu. So I'm going to hover over Jobs and then select Control Center. If the employee did not have the role securities in place, they wouldn't even see the Control Center as a drop-down menu option. But since we do have that security, we are able to come into the Control Center. Most control centers operate on a new version of MySQL 5.7, which is a relational database management system based on SQL, which is an abbreviation for Structured Query Language. The 5.7 version is intended to produce faster than ever before control center query results. The first tab that we will talk about in depth today is the Jobs tab. The Job tab provides users with a high-level overview of jobs and their current stage, job type, and referral source. When you scroll to the bottom, by default, you will see a list of all jobs within your database, whether those jobs are open, lost, or closed. However, each bubble across the top is representative of a production stage, and those stages are dependent on dates entered within the system. Two major items that are imperative to ensuring you have good data that will drive good results and change behavior within your control center is ensuring that your staff is entering in applicable dates on the Dates tab within each job and listing employees as a relationship on the Relationships tab within each job. If your team is not actively doing those two actions, I highly suggest they begin now if you want to have a control center and reporting that produces good data to drive those results that you're looking for. As mentioned earlier, each stage of production is represented by a bubble. Each bubble icon is clickable, and once clicked, it will show all corresponding jobs below that represent that specific stage. For example, if I click on the scoped stage, it will highlight with a blue shadow and show all corresponding jobs at the bottom that are represented in the scoped stage. You will notice that each column across the top is also filterable. So if you're searching for a specific job or customer, these filter columns can be helpful. Because these bubble stages are reflected by dates entered within the system, I wanted to explain to you what dates drive specifically the stage and bubble as represented here on your screen. No dates. These are jobs without any assigned dates. Received are jobs with dates up to and including the received date. Scoped are jobs with dates up to and including the inspected date. Pending are jobs with dates up to and including the completed estimate date. Approved are jobs with dates up to and including the approved date. Work in progress are jobs with dates up to and including the actual start date. Complete are jobs with dates up to and including the actual completion date. Not paid are jobs with dates up to and including the invoice date. And when a paid date is entered on the job, it will fall out of this specific bubble. And then lost are all jobs that have been marked as lost within your specific database. In the middle, you will see two pie charts representing jobs by stage and jobs by type. Each pie chart is representing all open and lost jobs that are applicable to that stage and that type. You can activate a third pie chart by selecting Show Referrals. When selecting Show Referrals, that will produce a pie chart for all open and lost jobs and shows you a high level of where the majority of your referral sources are being generated from. Next to the Show Referrals button, you also have the Show Revenue button. When selected, this will activate both estimated and actual revenue numerical values. Under each production stage bubble, you will see the total estimated revenue and actual revenue for all jobs totaling within that specific stage. Also, when Show Revenue is selected, a fourth pie chart will appear showing you all estimated revenue per job type. Estimated revenue gets added to jobs when work orders are either manually created or they are imported from an estimate from Xactimate or Symbility. And actual revenue gets reflected to jobs when invoices are created either within the PSA desktop accounting application or within QuickBooks. On the left side, I want to bring your attention to the other three vertical bubbles that we have not discussed yet. The same concept holds true for the horizontal stages when selected. The corresponding jobs will populate in a list view for all open, closed, and unassigned jobs. When the unassigned bubble is clicked on, the option up top for Show Criteria expands, and this is allowing you to search for jobs entered within your database that do not have any relationships assigned to it. So that is where the unassigned label is coming from. Again, that is jobs within your database that do not have any relationships assigned to that job, whether that is an employee, adjuster information, insurance office information, etc. Now that the Show Criteria button has expanded, let's discuss some of the filtering options that we have available. Over on the left, we have a gray box to enter in specific date ranges. The user can select from a drop-down menu or enter in a specific time frame that they want to search by. If the user selects a date range of today, the list that populates at the bottom of the screen will show all jobs through WIP, similar to the Job Management Active Report. Or if the user enters in a specific date range here, the list will also include any jobs that have an actual completion date, invoice date, and production close date within the date range entered. You can then use your other filtering options over here on the right to search for specific job types, companies, locations if you do have multiple, employee types, contacts, building type, and employee name. Once any search criteria has been entered, select Apply Filters, and the list of jobs at the bottom will be culled down and be reflective of the search criteria that was entered up top in the Show Criteria area. Or at this point in the process, if you want to search for jobs that do not have any relationships listed, let's navigate our focus down to the unassigned area. I am going to search for last month for all missing relationships. So from my drop-down menu, I'm searching for last month. My start and date auto-populates for me. And now I'm placing a checkmark selector for select all because I want to see all jobs within my system that do not have relationships on them. So when I scroll down here to the bottom, I can see I have a total of 50 jobs within this training database that do not have relationships listed on the relationships tab within each job listed here. As mentioned earlier, to produce good data in the control center and for reporting purposes, it is extremely important to ensure your team is properly capturing relationships on jobs. So if I saw a list of 50 jobs that did not have any relationships listed, I would select Edit next to each one of the jobs and go enter in the relationship info. When I select Edit, The job will populate in edit mode, and then you can go to the relationships tab and enter in the specific employee information. So here we are in our relationships tab. I'm going to my employees, and then I need to add a salesperson onto this job. And select add. And once any employees have been added as a relationship, always ensure you are selecting save. So let's navigate back to the control center, and we are going to talk about our workflow tab. The workflow tab of the control center is showing you a list of all workflow sequences that get created from your company settings and their current status. By default, you will see a list of workflows triggered on open jobs, but you can change your toggle and search for triggered workflows on closed or lost jobs. Again, workflows are created within your company settings and hold great value of holding accountability and compliance to ensure specific tasks are done within a defined time frame. Workflows also serve as a great resource to ensure contractors stay in compliance with third-party administration guidelines. If you need assistance on setting up workflows, please feel free to reach out to support at canmsys.com, and we will be happy to help you set up your workflows. The Workflow tab allows the users to see triggered workflows and their current status. Each icon across the top is clickable. So we have new, warning, past due, and completed. If I wanted to see all workflows within a certain stage, I could either filter by the status column, or I could click the icon up top for quick access. The first past due workflow is showing me that customer Landon Daniel was supposed to be contacted within 30 minutes of receiving the job and or the assignment. The contacted date has not yet been added to the dates tab of the job, which is why the workflow is showing as past due. To satisfy the past due workflow, I could select the blue hyperlink within the action column and then enter in the exception note here. And this will tell the system why this workflow is not met per the standard set forth in the workflow setup. So we can say something along the lines of customer did not answer their phone. Once I select save, today's date will be saved back onto the jobs date tab for the contacted date. And this workflow is no longer past due, it will fall into our completed bubble. Workflows can be tracked at the job level on the workflow tab within the job itself, or at the database level within our control center, which is what we are seeing here. Again, this is a great resource to hold accountability to ensure certain tasks are being completed within the desired time frame. The next tab that we will discuss today is the Schedule tab. This tab will show all open and closed jobs with their corresponding scheduled work orders and the status of those scheduled work orders. Some of what you're seeing on this screen could even be scheduled milestones if you're utilizing the integration with Contractor Connection Job Track. You can filter each column if you're searching for a specific job, job name. You can even sort your start date list to see newly created scheduled items. You can see any scheduled work order notes, and you can also filter to see the scheduled work order or milestone status of pending, past due, or completed. If a scheduled work order is past due, the user could click on the red status, which serves as a hyperlink to open the job, in which you could then navigate to the Schedule tab and complete the corresponding scheduled work order or the milestone. So let's complete this past due work order here for the walkthrough with the customer. Again, I can select past due. The status is a hyperlink to go to the job itself. I can go to my Schedule tab, and then we can filter our subject by walkthrough. And here we are, walkthrough with the customer. This scheduled work order is past due. I can click my check mark and say complete. Are you sure you want to complete this event? Yes, I do. So when we go back to our control center and we go to our Schedule tab, here we can see that walkthrough with customer, the status is no longer past due, and it has been marked green as complete. And much like the other tabs, you can use the search criteria filter options to further define your results. If you are actively listing attendees to scheduled work orders, whether that is companies, contacts, or employees, you can search for specific attendees that you have scheduled work orders and check on their scheduling status. So in this example, let's search for last month. My start and end date has been auto-populated for me, and I'm going to search for an employee that I know I have listed as an attendee on certain scheduled work orders. Again, once your filters are in place, always select the blue Apply Filters button. And here is a list of this technician's scheduled work orders and or milestones because they have been listed as an attendee on that specific scheduled item. So you can see down here at the bottom, they have 3 work orders scheduled to that specific person. 1 is past due and 2 have been completed. Next, let's transition and talk about the Notes tab of the Control Center. The Notes tab is our newest addition that we rolled out this past winter in conjunction with the To Do feature. The Notes tab will populate a list of all log notes entered within both open and closed jobs. Depending on your role securities, you will see edit or delete log notes on the right-hand side. However, if the role securities you have set in place do not allow your employees to edit or delete notes, those buttons will not be visible. The Notes tab will allow you to search for specific log note topics, which is the main intended purpose of this tab. So if I filter by the default log note topic of To Do, I can see all to-dos that have been assigned to employees, the corresponding to-do note, the due date, and the status. If I wanted to complete a to-do, I could simply click on the Edit button, and that would take me into the to-do where I could enter a note and mark it as completed. Again, the to-do feature is a newer feature of Proven Job Management. So if you are ever interested in learning more about how the to-do functionality fully works, please send an email to support@canmsys.com and we will be happy to assist you. As you can see, the Control Center provides a 30,000-foot view of your business and various critical components that need to be addressed. The Control Center allows you to see specific items at the database level and filter those results as opposed to the jobs level when just clicking through the various tabs of a job. I hope you enjoyed this session today on the Control Center. We do have a user guide available within the PSA Help Library that you can download, or you can email support@canmsys.com, and we will be happy to send you a PDF copy of that user guide to you directly. I am now going to open the floor for any questions that you might have, so please enter any and all questions within the Zoom chat box. Thank you, everyone.